is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And I am joined, as always, by my two friends, Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, boys?
That was weird.
Yeah, sometimes less is more.
I'm doing good. How are you? How are you doing? More importantly, how's EP doing? EP buddy.
Let's play a little game here. We've got one of us is sick, one of us is hungover, and one of us is Mike. You guys make your guesses in the comments down there. So,
surprisingly, I'm not hungover. I only had, I think, 2 beers last night.
Oh wow,
interesting. Yeah, I was tired. We were at the card show. We'll talk about it. Mike and I went to a card show, and I could have taken a nap.
I could have too. Absolutely. Yeah. So how you feeling, EP?
I was not at the card show because I got sick.
Because you're
really sick Wednesday. No, I got really sick. Like I climbed into bed and slept in my work clothes for 7 hours on Wednesday. So I'm not having a beer today. I'm having some Gatorade and some.
That's what I do when I'm hungover.
I'm gonna try to do whatever I can to not cough on you guys or cough into your ears if you're just listening on the audio podcast. So just want to let you guys know. I'm feeling a lot better though. The fever broke yesterday, and pretty much all I have left now is the cough and a little bit of congestion. So
this is on the other side. Flu game. Yep. He's doing it for you guys, the viewers and listeners. So send us love in the comments.
He won't read them.
No, he won't read them. So, where are you, Joe? I've never seen this one before.
Yeah. This is a new one. I'm at our buddy Mike Jones's Airbnb. Well, Jamie's Airbnb, his awesome fiance. I was awesome.
It's Mike's house.
It's Mike's house.
Come on, we got to give Mike some credit.
Yeah, well, it is Mike's house.
How about Mike and Jamie's Airbnb?
Okay, I guess it's both of theirs. I'm in his office. He's got, now this is going to freak everyone out. He's got like Star Wars stuff.
He's got a really dark cabinet that we can't see anything in. Yeah. That is entertainment right there.
But it's like all Star Wars, like fun. Like this is like, for me as a Star Trek fan, this is a little too much, but there's like Star Trek stuff. I'm reaching over here. Like there's this Funko after Funko of Star Wars stuff. It's crazy.
He's trying to use the Force to convert you to like the better property.
Yeah, it's not working. Yeah. It's not working. The better property. Oh, stop. But no, yes, he graciously is letting me stay at his house so I can record this for you, because when I'm in town for holidays, my grandfather, Wayne L. Day, for those of you who know,
big Caitlin Clark fan,
huge Caitlin Clark fan, does not have the internet. Because of course he doesn't. So and I saved the $100 from getting a hotel room for the night. So, which I'd have to charge to the channel, obviously, as a business expense. So I want to save the money from that. So I'm here at Mike's house. Mike Jones.
Appreciate that, Joe. Thank you.
We need a viewer to go back and count up how many different locations you've been at on the show.
Yeah. But I never miss a show.
No. Have not yet.
Here, yep. I am here for it.
You're just a globetrotter, man. You just are always on the move, man.
He is jet setter, even.
Yep. Just outside Catawissa here in Central PA.
Isn't it closer to Danville?
It is, but I wanted to say Catawissa for some reason. He made me pancakes this morning. I mean, come on, continental breakfast. Had coffee ready for me,
and Joe had to send us a picture of the pancakes, like we don't know what pancakes look like. What is with people that have to send pictures of their food? It is the dumbest thing ever.
The reason I sent you a picture of these pancakes, and you couldn't see, I looked at the picture, you couldn't see it. He made one in the shape of a bunny. Had bunny ears. I mean, come on, it's Easter.
Mike,
I mean,
get a life.
Yesterday was Easter.
Mike.
But no, thank you, Mike and Jamie, for your hospitality. As always, I appreciate it.
I don't know why you didn't let Mike pull a chair up next to you and just do the podcast.
I asked, and you said no, absolutely not.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, he vetoed it.
He's not supposed to know that. Oh, so EP, other than being sick, anything new and exciting with you? I'm going to guess probably not.
I mean, not really. I started working on cards for the show on like Tuesday, like morning or Wednesday morning, and I got done with it, and then that's when I got hit with the stuff, the sickness. I did get the boxes that you recommended, the 2-inch box that couldn't fit the slabs.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna send some offers on some bunch of my slabs that I have people watching. But other than that, I really didn't have time to really do too much this week.
I've been packing cards from my baseball mania sale, and let me tell you, those 7x5x1 and 7x5x2 inch boxes I got are perfect for situations. I feel so good though right now packing stuff because I have this great selection of boxes. Like I have anything I need.
You know how we talk about packing.
I pull a box out and I'm like, oh, doesn't quite. Oh, I just grab this one and I'm done. It's awesome.
Mike, what would you recommend for me to use my eBay credits on for like the shipping supplies? Like, what would you recommend I use it for?
I use mine on the 8x6x4 boxes because I think they're just a little over what the credit is or something like that, or right at the credit. So, but they're just like a great utility box for if you're shipping, single cards that are a little much for a bubble envelope or something like that. They're perfect for that. A lot of boxes of cards that aren't the bigger boxes, but like a lot of them will fit like perfectly. I think like the older 90s Topps baseball, like I think I had 93 Topps baseball fit perfectly in that box. Like I had to put I just put a little bit of cardboard on top so the people didn't cut the box if they cut the box open too deep. But yeah, they're just a really, really good box to use. So that's my box recommendation of the week.
Have you ever tried any of those other supplies, any of the envelopes or anything like that, or do you pretty much just always go with those boxes?
I usually go with the boxes just because like I have envelopes and I like the ones I use, and I don't really that's wrong. I should say I have gotten, I think they're like 5x8 boxes, like not envelopes. They're like a normal envelope, but they're maybe yay big and this wide, and they have like the seal strip on it. So you can fit 2 cards like side by side in it. And they're still flat and they can still go like standard envelope and stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So those are, I've gotten those once or twice, but I don't use them very often at all. But I have
for other options.
Gotcha. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Good stuff. Always use your eBay credit if you have an eBay store, though. You can get a lot of stuff. It's amazing how the stuff adds up over time. This is exciting talk for the podcast though this week. So let's talk a little bit about the show. EP was not at the card show, but Joe was there. So Joe came over to my house and I sped him right down to the show. And
not right down. He bought me Starbucks and Sheets tater tots. Or no. What were
mini hash browns.
Mini hash browns.
Yes.
Oh, they were banging, EP. They were banging.
Stuff. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, I went to the card show, and I got to be honest, every table that we went of people that I knew from going to the card shows before, just kind of know through the channel, first question they asked, where's EP at? Is EP okay? to a man, every one of them was asking about you, EP. You are a celebrity down there. Like, it is wild how important you are at that card show. And I got to meet one of your mentees. What was his name?
Lucas.
And I didn't know too much about Lucas, but I saw he was wearing a Bloomsburg hoodie. And I said, I heard a rumor that Lucas was accepted to Harvard, but he spoke to EP, and EP said, no, go to Bloomsburg. Bloomsburg's the way to go. So EP's mentoring him throughout every facet of his life. So that's fascinating. But yeah, I'll tell you what, you guys weren't wrong. Lots of Pokemon. All the tables that had Pokemon were like 3 or 4 people deep. And that was everyone else. I was asking other like just sports card folks, oh, how's the show going? Oh, it's a little slow. And I'm like, slow? There's a ton of people here. They were all there for the TCG.
Yeah, it was, I mean, the trend continues. We talked about it. It's just there were a lot of tables there and they were busy. And even there were some of the sports card tables that were hard to get to because they had some Pokemon, and then the Pokemon people were around there and couldn't look at the sports cards that were there. But
Mike, would you say there were more Pokemon than the last show?
There were 84 tables at this one. So
really?
It was a big show. Yeah, it took like half the mall from one end almost to the middle. Easter Bunny was in the middle of the mall, so they weren't set up in the middle. Easter Bunny waved to Joe and I too, by the way.
Can you post the picture we took with Easter Bunny at the end of the pod? Stick around for that picture. All the way to the end. Mike will post that picture if he remembers.
I can't wait to see it myself.
There's no picture.
Was that Magic the Gathering?
There was a weight limit. Oh.
Was the Magic table there again?
I don't really know that I noticed. Maybe
you said that was swamped the last time, right?
Yeah,
so
it was.
People, so.
There were so many tables there this time that like kind of I didn't really look at some of the ones that I knew were gaming, so I didn't know if it was Pokemon or Magic. But yeah, a lot of people there for Pokemon yet again, but not us. I couldn't find anything, EP. I didn't feel like I went to the show and I didn't feel like looking through cards.
Oh, because you were worried about me. You're excited.
Absolutely. Yeah. I thought for a minute about getting you some, but then I didn't. But my big takeaway from the show is we all talk about Card Show Kevin here, right? I need our viewers to let Card Show Kevin know this. He calls his card business K9 Cards. And I'm like, dude, that sounds like you should be selling dog cards. You should be Card Show Kevin. Like, that's all you need. Card Show Kevin Cards, even if you want to.
Yeah.
Let him know in the comments that Card Show Kevin Cards is so much better than K9. He was just like looking at me like,
unless you're going to sell
dog cards. Yeah, if you're selling dog cards, that's perfect
of your business.
But he really needs to learn how to sell his brand. And plus, I get a licensing fee because that's my trademark term. But, I feel like you should use that. Don't you, EP?
I definitely do. But I wonder, like, is the K9 stand for something? Like the first one is Kevin, but then what do the other 8 Ks? What are the other 8 Ks? Like, if he can explain it to us what the K9 means, then I'm okay with it. If not, he should go Card Show Kevin.
Kevin, submit an essay. No less than 200 words, please. Double spaced. 10. No,
I want 9 pages, one for each of the Ks.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, thank you to Troy the fish, who wasn't there, but he was there in spirit because he dropped off a little care package for me with Bill. So I don't have it in front of me, but it's some Star Trek promo cards from the Philly Non-Sports Card Show. I famously couldn't make it the one weekend of the year that I worked, and I got the paycheck for that work though, so it was worth it. But so I missed out on that, but he brought me some promo stuff from that show. So big thank you to the fish for that.
And one other thing, EP, one of our viewers at the show brought up the fact that he gets a kick out of all the times that you lose your train of thought and can't remember what you're going to say. I let him know, if you only knew how many of those times I cut out of the videos that you didn't get to see. Yeah. Maybe I should make like a blooper reel of EP just for
my God, that would be glorious.
That would be actually awesome. That'd be great. God, all right, well, let's get into it this week. I don't know. I heard this term called bastardization somewhere on a podcast, and I don't know. I thought maybe it would apply here, but the person on the podcast was talking about Fanatics, Topps, how they're going to take a great idea they had, which were the MLB debut patches. They make the cards out of the patch right there on the sleeve. You can see them. Keep that in mind. That's going to come into play later. And it's a great idea. They've been very popular, but this guy on the podcast, I can't remember his name, but he was talking about how Fanatics is going to bastardize this by just coming out with more and more of them. We already saw that they're going to have the award winner logos in MLB. Well, they announced this week that all of the wrestlers in this past weekend's WrestleMania would be wearing a special commemorative WrestleMania 41 patch that Topps was going to be taking to make exclusive one-of-one trading cards with. Not only that, the first time a wrestler debuts on Raw or SmackDown, they're going to have a Raw or SmackDown debut patch, and they're going to make one-of-one cards of those. I don't know how that's going to work for like a guy that maybe has you debut on SmackDown and then a year later you're traded to Raw. Do you get another debut for Raw? I guess you would, right?
Ask Fanatics if they want
Absolutely.
more card potential out of these. Of course they will.
So, here they are. And I watched night one of WrestleMania. I have to get something off my chest. This was annoying to me because all I did was sit there trying to find the patches on the damn wrestlers' gear. They're supposed to be on their gear, and they're going to make cards of these. Well, let me just throw a for instance out there. Seth Rollins clearly did not have it on his gear. Then somebody pointed out to me it was on the flamethrower that he shot flames out of on the entrance. It was not on his gear. It was on the prop he used. Roman Reigns, there was no patch to be found. The rumor is he had it on the inside of the tongue of the Jordans that he was wearing. Don't know if that's true or not, but he did not have the patch anywhere you could find it. So while this was an interesting idea, I'm going to go out and say I'm not really confident how much they were on the gear that was worn in the show. And I'm going to guess that Topps is never going to let us know. They're just going to throw all these out there. Oh, yeah, Roman Reigns had his on. They're not going to show a picture of it on the inside of the tongue. They should have to show me where it was on the gear they wore. It's not on the sleeve like it is in baseball. They're easy to find. They're all right there. I was looking. I wasn't paying attention to the match because I was trying to find the damn patch.
Mike, come on, man. Fanatics would never do that. They will be on the up and up for all of this. There's no way that they would like hide these things and then, just pretend like, oh, you could see them clearly. They were all right there. Yeah. Having it on the flamethrower, which I didn't even know until you just said that. And I watched WrestleMania night 1 too. And my favorite part of WrestleMania, I will say, I was with Mike Jones and, like I said, his fiance Jamie, and Jamie every match. So is this one scripted too? Is this one? And she kept like asking. It was fucking hilarious. It was so funny. Yes, Jamie, if you're watching this, every match is scripted. But yeah, the flamethrower thing, it kind of reminds me of like Mark Ingram walking around with 25 jerseys on.
It does.
Like,
yeah.
Well, you didn't actually wear it in the match then. Like, so it's not a match worn debut patch or whatever they want to call it. So they're not going to change the name of it. They're just going to probably call them match worn debut patches. It's lame. I mean, and I get it. Like, it's different for a wrestler because, like a uniform, there's patches all over uniforms. You're wearing a uniform from head to toe in baseball and football, in basketball for the most part. Wrestling's different. Like CM Punk wears bikini briefs basically to wrestle in. I mean, unless you're going to put it maybe on like his wrist tape or whatever, but like it has to be, if you're going to like,
his was on the back of his kick pad.
Yeah. If you're going to bastardize them, at least bastardize them right. At least have them out there and loud and proud, as it were. I don't know. It was lame, but I was looking for him too, Mike. I wasn't as distracted by them as I was Paul Heyman having a heart attack on the steps. I took a picture of that, EP. I sent it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I posted to you guys. I'm like, this looks like Mike after doing his stack sales. He was worn out. That man was worn out. But yeah, it was a lame attempt at this. Hopefully they learn from it. They won't, but hopefully they do.
This is definitely, I mean, like you said, this is going to open the floodgates for this whole thing, right? Like they're going to invent stuff in like football. Like the one thing I would think would be cool would be like in football, like a Thanksgiving Day patch. That'd be kind of cool. But they'll like invent like a mid-season something or other. Like they're definitely bastardizing it. Like they can definitely feel it. I feel like this is proof. Do we know before? Are these removable? Can they just like pull these off and put them wherever they want?
because
It's like,
like
how could you attach it to
the
a
one
flamethrower
Seth
or-
Rollins did not stitch his on a flamethrower.
Right.
I'm
Right.
guessing they must be like a sticker or something, like
Yeah.
some
The
kind of
Velcro
stick-on
maybe,
thing.
some sort of Velcro
Maybe.
or something. Maybe like
I don't know.
It's gotta
Well,
be
something
something.
would have to be stuck on even to hold the Velcro. So
It's
Yeah.
true,
it must
yeah.
be
Yeah.
like sticker based and not actually stitched on, but I'm not sure.
Mm.
But it is kind of like, I feel like the wrestlers were like, oh hell no, I'm not.
Right.
Like Roman Reigns was like, no,
This
I'm
is
not
my look. You
putting
don't get to
that-
change
yeah,
that.
I'm not.
Yeah.
He had these brand new Jordans and like just black pants. He was clearly like, I'm not, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. So like, whereas the baseball players just put them on and wear them, the wrestlers
Because
are all
Fanatics makes
different.
their uniforms.
Yeah,
Because
that's
Fanatics
true,
makes their
yeah.
uniforms. They're not making CM Punk singlet or bikini briefs or whatever. I mean, that's what it is.
It's also different because they have to wear the uniform when they're playing,
Mhm.
and the wrestlers like part of it's their identity to be dressed like that. So I could totally see why they're okay with that.
So how far are they taking this? Joe, I feel by next year, baseball is going to have like a mass patch. Like at some point, they should be able to start making these a little more available to the average collector, though, right? Maybe.
I mean,
Mm.
if we're going to turn them into NASCAR drivers, then sure. I mean, make them, at what point are they case hits, right? Like, at what point does it go from this one-on-one chase to now you get one per case? I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I honestly wouldn't.
If you have every
at least
player,
let
like
everyone.
yeah, like if
Right.
you have every player on a baseball team wearing one for a game, all of a sudden you have what, the 53 patches per team times what, 30 some teams? You have
Maybe
a lot of
opening
patches.
day patch. Maybe opening day patch. I could see that and have every player, that's on the roster for opening day wear them. Like, if you're gonna bastardize it, at least make it readily available for actual collectors to be able to maybe pull one.
Oh, that's what they're doing, guys. They're following that path that Panini has already
Oh
set
my God,
forth.
the man is
Panini has
sick and
already
he
set
can
forth.
still blame Panini for
Panini
something
has set
Fanatics
forth
clearly did.
the path that is a 101 in every pack, baby, or 101 in every box. Like you're gonna fit like they have like Panini like Select has like 27 different 101s for players. That's what we're gonna have. We're gonna have 101s for like there's just gonna be 101s everywhere.
Fanatics does that anyway. Fanatics
Yeah.
They
is
don't do
doing
that.
that anyway.
They don't do that as much. They don't do as much as Panini.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Like,
They don't
exactly.
make as many
This is-
cards.
this
Maybe
is the
when
path. This
they
is
get
the
the
way
other
in.
licenses, they're going to be right there with Panini. When
You
they
know, Star Trek.
were going to be different. Remember?
Yep.
Michael
Yep.
Rubin, they're going to be different. They're not
And
different.
EP, you said they were going to be different too.
I did.
If
Listen,
you're gonna throw
when-
Panini
if
under
you-
the bus, you got to be ready to throw
if
Fanatics under
if
the
you're
bus,
an
brother.
adult, you can change your mind when the
Change your
circumstances
mind.
and circumstances and
So
facts
you're
change.
saying I changed your mind. So I appreciate that.
No,
compliment.
the facts have changed. The actual reality, what has happened, has actually led me to.
So I had a
You did
crystal
not
ball.
influence me. You just
I had a
you
crystal
saw the future.
ball.
Yeah, you saw the future. You
Okay,
didn't influence
alright,
me, but you
I'm
saw
fine
the
with that.
future. Yes. Yeah.
Wow. This is good stuff. I
Yeah.
love it. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where to go from here. Maybe I'll just move on. That's a great transition right there. All right. I've seen talk in our comments, usually from Ziggy, when we're talking about breaking, about what about the kids, what's the future and stuff. But also on X or Twitter or whatever you still call it this week, I saw a lot of conversation about the future of kids in the hobby. There were pretty much everybody, imagine this, people picked a side and then we're defending the side they're on.
Wait, on the internet? What?
Yeah, can you imagine? Like, so rare. But one side out there saying that the price of product is pricing kids out. Kids can't afford to buy wax. And what's the future going to be if kids can't go and open packs? Then you had the other side. I actually saw Ty Wilson had tweeted that he disagreed with that. Said he sees kids everywhere in the hobby at shows and stuff. And that it's actually all, I'm paraphrasing too, that it's actually all kind of relative because like the parents are spending $10 on their Starbucks Frappuccinos now. So everything's more expensive. It could be a little of both. Why can't things just maybe be a little of both? First of all, I remember
Take
this.
that back, Mike. You take that
No,
back. It's not
no,
allowed.
yeah, I know.
If
I say
pick a
that,
side, Mike.
both sides are just gonna hate me. But what else is new? I remember the same discussion back when I had my card shop in the 90s. This is not anything new in the hobby. This discussion has been going on since before I opened my shop back in the 80s and the 90s. Everything's too expensive. The kids are going to be priced out of it, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go out and say that I'm not really worried about kids in the hobby because I think they gravitate. Ty Wilson's right. Even though like it's his anecdotal experience, I think we've all seen it. We've seen the national. There were kids all over the place. The local shows I go to, there are kids walking around wheeling and dealing. I really don't think there's a lack of kids in the hobby. And even if they can't afford to buy $1,000 box of cards, it seems like they're still able to enjoy it. A lot of them like to collect single cards.
Yep,
whatever you think about breaking, the one thing breaking does, it does bring a lot of the single cards into the market. So there are a lot of ways that you can enjoy the hobby, and it doesn't have to involve ripping $1,000 boxes of cards. That might be a good thing to keep kids from doing. Maybe the manufacturers are in a way doing kids a favor and keeping them from they're not intentionally doing it, right. But unintentionally, it's out of their price range, so they're not going to waste all their money on doing it. So, and there are still products out there that kids can afford. There's a lot of retail, which sadly they don't get much out of. But I just wish, why can't they do kind of a hobby version of retail? Like maybe let some of the smaller shops buy like smaller boxes, cheaper boxes of other products. They don't have to do it for everything, but maybe Topps Chrome, maybe have like an 8-pack box that goes to a hobby shop. That we were at a hobby shop yesterday, Joe. The guy used to have a lot of wax and now he can't get any of it. He's one of the long-term older guys. Yeah. At UConn. So he doesn't get a lot of the newer stuff anymore, and he can't. And it's a shame. Like, I wish they had a way, just something between retail and the hobby boxes that maybe people could buy, maybe kids could buy. I don't know. I've been going on long enough. I want to hear your opinions, but this has been going on forever. It's been said forever, yet kids still participate in the hobby. And I think they're very into it right now.
Yeah. To your question about, like cheaper hobby type boxes, I think Panini does have something called H2, which is kind of like a mix between retail and hobby that is a little bit cheaper. But obviously, like, you get an autograph, but it's definitely not one of the, like, you're rarely going to get a good.
And Topps has done like chrome light boxes too.
Yeah,
so I guess I wasn't completely
but it needs to be
there,
more available.
Yeah.
It needs to be more available. And stuff like that, even when that goes up for sale, it gets blown out of the water. I mean, people 3-4x the secondary market cost of that stuff too. So it's not like they're not doing that. So yeah, the two things I was thinking is I see more kids with singles than ripping packs. I see adults ripping packs. Like, I do not see like YouTube channels with kids being like, let me open up this, $1,200 box of Prism or whatever. I don't see that often. I see them with Zion cases, walking around card shows and wheeling and dealing. We were at the local show Saturday, 2 days ago. And the adults were the ones going through dollar boxes and the kids were the ones walking around with Pelican cases and like pulling them out and, making deals on slabs and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, kids eventually turn into adults with money. So I mean, like, I think they're doing just fine. I don't think they're being priced out of the hobby because of wax price. That maybe they're smarter than any of us are. I mean, they don't open up wax. They
let the adults rip it and then they buy that stuff from them.
Right. Or trade for it or whatever. Yeah. I mean, and it's a good point about, everything's more expensive than it was in 1999. I mean, I think that's just such a straw man argument that it's like, it's so much more.
That's always been the argument, though. Even in the late 90s, stuff is so expensive. Everything used to be like 50 cents a pack, then it was $1, and then by the late 90s we're up to like $10. Some were $20 a pack with the stuff with the autographs in it, and people were like, oh, this is just so crazy, kids can never afford it. And here we are, fast forward, we're up to $1,000 box, but kids are still here. They're not going anywhere.
Great Seinfeld scene where George was getting some candy out of a vending machine, and the guy goes, I used to be able to get a Snickers for a nickel or whatever it was. I mean, yeah, sure, you did like 50 years ago, but here we are living in the modern times, and things are more expensive. Things are going to go up, and kids aren't delivering newspapers for money anymore. Like they don't have to scrape together nickels to go down to the local card shop to buy a pack of Collector's Choice, right? So they're buying and selling on eBay. They're going to card shows, buying and selling. I think they'll be just fine. And that's, again, anecdotal, and it's not for everyone. Like there are some kids that might be priced out of it, and there should be something for them, like you mentioned, Mike. But I think by and large, I don't think there's this mass exodus of kids because Prism is $1,200 a box.
I think the people saying the kids are priced out of this are just want cheaper Prism boxes for themselves.
Yeah,
I think the
absolutely.
I think the hobby has changed.
Which I'm not saying they're wrong for wanting cheaper boxes for themselves, but
definitely not. Yeah, because that's what I want too, right?
Yeah, me too.
But I think the hobby has changed a little bit in that I think when we were back in the day, we wanted to open boxes because we could get lots of really cool cards. But now I think the hobby's changed, especially for the kids side, because they see the wheelers and dealers on YouTube and on TikTok and social media, and they're trading $1,500 worth of slabs for $1,500 worth of slabs, and I think that's what they want to aspire to do. Where back in the day, we would show up to the shop and we would see somebody get something really cool out of a box, and the box is only $50 or the box is $100. We would buy a box because we wanted to get something cool out of that box too. So I think that's kind of where we are in that regard. In regard to the affordable pricing, I think you're right, Mike. It'd be really cool if they did like a hobby SKU, a breaker SKU, and then a retail SKU. And I will also say though that that retail SKUs are still relatively inexpensive in some cases. Like I think I bought a box of Bowman, 2 boxes of Bowman Chrome University Blasters, the 24-25 stuff, $25 a box, which is super cheap. I got a black Cooper Flag parallel out of it. That's like a $75 to $100 card. And I think that you're getting a little bit better stuff out of retail than you used to. It hasn't gone up too much. I think that is an entry point for kids if they want to get in, they want to open packs. But I think a lot of them are more gravitating to what they see on YouTube, which is not people opening up packs. It's people wheeling and dealing the big stuff.
And I've said it before. You watch some of these kids negotiate with like the adults that are the dealers. They know way more than kids do back in the 90s or when I was a kid. And like as a business person, I've run businesses my whole life. That's what my job has always been. Like I love it because these kids are learning stuff. They're learning a hustle. First of all, they're learning that if I keep working at this, I can build something bigger. Now you take this from building your card collection as a kid to maybe building a business or something else in a job as an adult. You're going to have a really good work ethic. Like, that if you put time into something and work hard at it, you can make it grow. And like, I see, I know I might have one of my kids that's kind of just super chill and doesn't have a path in life. And I'm like, maybe I should get him into cards. Maybe he'll learn something.
I mean, it wouldn't be a terrible
family watches this. So. No, they really do. It's amazing to see the business acumen that these kids have and the work that they're willing to put into it. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Having as someone who has set up at card shows and having these kids come up, like they know the comps of their cards, they know what they're looking for. Like they are in it like super hard, and they might have a case full of cards, and they will know what the recent comps are for all their cards, what they're looking to get out of it. And it is impressive to me. As when I was that age, I wouldn't have even thought about it like that, right?
And that's why you decide to mentor as many as you have at these.
They should be mentoring me, dude. They should be mentoring me.
That's why the hobby's in such good shape for kids, because EP is out there to mentor.
Yep. He has mentors. His mentees went to the card show. EP did not. I mean, the student has become the master, as it were.
He cut the cord and let them go.
Yep,
They're flying on their own now. They don't need his guidance anymore.
yep.
All right. Well, somebody who might need some guidance from Joe Day is the owner of the Upper Deck Exquisite Michael Jordan Kobe Bryant dual autograph logo man 1/1 card. Joe, what do you always say about grading 1/1s?
Don't grade 1/1s. What are you doing? There's only one of them. What do you need to grade them for?
There you go. Well, apparently, this person was offered $8 million for the card. $8 million for the card when it was raw. And he's like, nope, I got to get it graded. I'm not sending it to PSA to get it authenticated. Just get that authentic slab on it, which I've always said, if you want to do that, that's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, he got it graded and it came back a 6. There's only one of them, but now apparently, after turning down an $8 million offer, the value is now estimated at only $6 million. Now, sure,
Nice.
It might sell for 8. I don't know. Maybe it'll sell for more. I don't know what it'll sell for. But if you have an offer of $8 million for a car, let me just turn things off. Look at me here. If you have an offer of $8 million for a card, take it. Take it. That's simple. You don't need to grade it.
Yeah.
You don't need to spit shine it. You don't need to use some Kurt's card care on it. Just sell it. $8 million for a basketball card. What are we doing? Come on. $8 million and you grade it. Why in the hell are you grading it?
Yeah. I mean, EP and I disagree on this, and that's fine. I mean, we just disagree from time to time. But I will say there's sort of it coming back a 10-10, right? Which, I mean, maybe PSA would have given it a 10-10, like they gave that Skeens that shouldn't have gotten a 10-10. So maybe, I mean, spin the wheel. But if it was bad enough to get a 6 and it was, you said Upper Deck Exquisite, they're thick cards. I mean, that wasn't coming back a 10 anyway. So, like, what are you doing? Send it off to be authenticated. That, I think EP and I can agree on. Like, if you're not going to grade it, authenticate it. That's fine. I mean, I wouldn't put it in if I'm keeping it, if it's a $8 million and I'm just
$8 million
filthy rich. If I'm filthy rich, maybe I'll put it in a pro mold. But if you're selling it, authenticate it and sell it basically raw. Encapsulate it to prove it's authentic, and then go from there. There's no necessity. And this guy or gal, I don't know, this person who had the offer didn't even have to do that much. They could just send it off to him raw. But here's the thing. The hobby is all about greed, right? So this person thought, oh, if I grade it and it comes back
a boat
10,
in that box.
There could be a boat in that box, right? So now this card that's $8 million raw, if I get a 10, what's hysterical too is we've talked so many times on this show about how ridiculous it is that the value of 9s are so much less than the value of 10s. What are you trying to accomplish then? If your card is not going to get a 10, you have lost value. If it gets a 9, you have lost value on that card. And I know EP and I agree on this. We've talked about this, how 9s are so much less valuable than 10s. What is the benefit of grading it at that point, unless you know it could get a 10-10? And a thick card, there's no way that's going to happen. No benefit to grading it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Send it off to be authenticated.
I only disagree with you on the fact that you don't ever create a 1/1. Well, because I feel like you can maximize the value. We talk about this a lot. Where like if you have the card, you can. I'm not a grading addict.
You are.
If a card can be a 10, you can maximize the value. That said, this person, they turned down $8 million. They are a dum-dum. They are 100% a dum-dum, because what are you going to get if it comes back at 10? An extra $1 million, squeeze an extra $1 million out of that. Just take the $8 million and run with it, right? Also, if you get off $8 million and you look at this card, like if it's a 6, you can see it's a 6, dude. Like there's no question it's a 6. Oh, this person didn't look at it. I guarantee this person, he's like, I just got to get graded. I'm not gonna, or whatever. Like, I feel like a 6 is pretty obvious as a bad card. This card is an 8, 9, or 10, probably still goes for $8 million, but as a 6, like that definitely like hurts the value 100%. So That's my feeling. Joe, I agree with you on a lot of stuff, but I feel like there are times when you should grade it. If you're of a 1-1 that you think has a chance at a 10, you send it getting graded. What that does is that you're going to sell it faster. People are going to be more excited about it because of where we are in the hobby.
It's going to sell the same amount of time, no matter what.
No. In a PSA slab, people are they're Pavlov's dogs. They see something on PSA slab, they're going to be more apt to buy it, more quicker to buy it. I bet.
I have a couple thoughts here.
Okay, one quick point though, and then I'll kick it over to you, Mike. Is real quick. We're going to be listening to EP's other podcast, and he's going to say you should never grade 1-on-1s. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now.
First of all, I think when it comes to 1-on-1s, you could make more money off of letting the other person think there's a boat in that box instead of you being the person that thinks there's a boat in the box. Second of all, we had a video last week about how grading is a scam. Let's back up and look at this. That is the only card. It looks like what it looks like. Whether it's in a slab and has a number on it, or it's out of a slab and doesn't, that card looks like what it looks like. It should not change in value because it's put in a slab with a number on it.
No,
that's dumb. Like, again, this is why grading is a scam to me, especially when you get the 1-on-1s. I do understand what you're saying, EP, that if you get a 10, there will be some people that'll be willing to pay more for it. And I do totally understand that, and I respect that opinion. But at the same time, that card was the same damn card it was before it was put in the slab. It is the only one out there. The whole point of grading should be, well, there are a million of these and I got the 10 and it's the only one that's this good. Not, well, this is always going to be, always has been, always will be what it is, but let's just grade it. And now the value should be different depending on what the number is. And third, I'm wondering if he was like in touch with an auction place that advised him to send it in to get graded. Like, I don't know. I kind of feel like if somebody has this card now and it wasn't already in a slab, maybe they didn't care to do that. And they started thinking about selling it, and whatever company might have been, well, you know what you have to do. First of all, we have to send it to PSA and get it graded. And that's why they did it. I kind of feel like that's probably the most likely situation, because if this person had this card the whole time and it wasn't graded, I'm thinking they didn't want it graded and somebody told them to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and EP, I did say at the beginning of this, unless you can guarantee it's a 10.
Right.
I didn't say that. So we agree. I mean, if you can guarantee it's a 10, then sure, but there's no way to guarantee it unless you, I don't think PSA offers like a raw card review like Beckett, and I think SGC has that. I don't think you can take it to PSA and say, I guess you could send it to PSA and put if this doesn't grade a 10, a minimum, don't encapsulate or just encapsulate authentic. I think you can do that. Maybe if you have a 1-on-1, maybe that's what you should do then. If you are that dead set on getting a 10, send it off. And PSA still gets their money, because then, they still went through the process. There's a cost, that is incurred there. And then that way you're not beholden to whatever grade they slap on there. And that card is encapsulated. And I'll tell you what, we've all cracked cases. I know Mike and I have. I don't know if you have, EP. We've cracked cases. Could you imagine trying to crack a 1-on-1? I'm like a hard pass on that. But it's making me think, like, EP is pushing grading so much. I'm starting to wonder some things. Hold on. I'm starting to wonder.
Oh no.
And I hate to be this guy. Okay.
Did he pack his helmet? Oh,
I'm starting to wonder. All right. Is EP in the pocket of big grading? Is EP in that pocket of big grading? I'm starting to wonder. And I'll tell you what, I'm starting to think he is, because there is no way that someone like EP, a true collector, would care this much about grading.
Wow. You make a good point. I mean, that is a legitimate point you're making right there. Wow.
It's hard to argue when Boba Fett enters the chat. Yeah.
Wow. This is amazing. And we don't charge you anything
Oh,
for
no, I
this
gotta take this
content.
off. Jesus. Oh.
Audio podcasters, please just tune in to the YouTube channel just this week. If anything, nothing else, you got to check this out.
Got to check out Boba Joe up there.
Oh, thank you, Mike Jones, for that suggestion.
Wow, well played, Mike.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, that's pretty awesome, though.
That is pretty awesome. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of grading, I don't know if this is a new thing or if this is something they've been doing for a while, but Collectors, the parent company of PSA, is offering asset-based loans. I need to get the right term there because doesn't that sound, don't you want to just throw up asset-based loans? But apparently they're giving out loans from $200,000 to $10 million based on your cards. You send the cards to them, they will store them and insure them for free, complimentary. Yeah, and give you money. So we have seen other companies do this before. I'm not sure we've seen other companies do this successfully before, but obviously Collectors is a way bigger company. I don't know what kind of deal they're giving you. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess if they're doing this, they're probably making sure it's really safe in their favor, that the card market would really have to take a beating for them to be risking any liability here for what they're giving you money on. But holy cow, $10 million? Joe, are you sending your Picard cards to get a loan?
I mean, if I only needed 10 million, I'd probably send a couple.
True, yeah.
But it is wild to me. And I'll tell you what, we made this show. I think it was you, Mike, who made this joke. Like PSA Collectors, right? PSA Collectors Universe is out Fanatics in what they had planned to do with this hobby. Like
they sure have.
They are really, I mean, they are taking steps, man. And it's, I can't imagine how much your cards would have to be worth in the current market for them to guarantee a loan of $10 million, $50 million. Like, there's no way they're ever going to be on the lurch for these cards. I wonder if it's like, oh, this is a card that from 2019 on has had steady growth, like a 52 Mantle, for example, has had steady growth. So that I feel comfortable, with this loan. I don't think it's going to be a Justin Herbert rookie card. Like, I'm guessing there is some sort of there's some sort of scale that, the volatility of the market, the volatility of the certain players that you have these cards invested in. How long do you have to pay it back? Has to play into this as well. But I mean, while they will definitely cover themselves and they have the money to do it, isn't this what PWCC got screwed over with? Like, guaranteeing loans. Like, if this would all, in the worst case scenario, turn bad for Fanatics, maybe I'll get my conspiracy helmet over here and say maybe for PSA, maybe Fanatics will come in and buy them like they did with PWCC. Like, this is wild that they would put that much money out there into the hobby world. And by the way, if you have enough cards that you could secure a $10 million loan through Collectors, what financial decisions are you making in your life? Like if you need the money and you have cards that could guarantee a loan of up to $10 million, which means you have to have at least $20 million worth of cards, right? Like, at least. There's no way they're giving you a $10 million loan on $11 million worth of cards. That's not going to happen. Just sell the cards. Like, we talked about gambling addiction. If you're that addicted to cards that you need money and you can't bring yourself to sell your cards, that seems like a problem to me. I don't know.
But Joe, we can't give up our cards. We can't. We work so hard for these cards.
Right.
I worked so hard for this Justin Herbert rookie card. I'm not going to give that up.
Yeah.
No,
it's just crazy.
I agree with you 100%, Joe. Like, I want to see the fine print on the loan, like the loan application, like the different like the paying it back and all that sort of stuff, all the different rules and stuff. There's got to be a ton there. I think the first thing I wrote down here is I think they're hoping people default on this, right? That way
Oh,
they get to keep the cars. Like the bottom line is, I think
that's what banks give
Right.
loans for. Like they're not, that's why credit cards have 30% interest on them. They're hoping people default.
And I don't know. Rich people play this game anyway, though. Their money is tied up in assets, and then they take loans on the assets as money, so they don't have to take an income, so they don't have to pay tax on the money they're getting an income on. And I don't know. I'm guessing maybe part of this is to get a little bit of that pie. I mean, that's a normal thing that richer people do, but. Do you think if I get all my leftover stack sale stuff, I could send those to PSA and get myself like a $500,000
if you did just for a video, just for content?
Yeah,
if you said that to
take
PSA,
those,
that'd
right?
be hilarious. Yeah, but there's probably some in the fine print that they all.
I didn't see the fine print. All I know is what I saw on their website. It didn't specifically say that my cards had to be worth like a certain amount of money each. So I thought maybe collectively, if I send them, $1 million worth of 50-cent cards, I should be good.
Could you imagine being the person that collectors who opens that box and says, "What the F? What is this?"
Wait, that box? Those boxes.
Yeah.
That truck that has all the boxes in it that I sent out to them. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if in the fine print, again, we haven't comment below if you have read it, if you're considering this as an option, let us know. Do they all need to be graded? I wouldn't be surprised if they all need to be graded as well, especially graded through PSA. I don't know. Maybe. I'm guessing.
Oh, well, you always have to burst my bubble. So.
Yeah, sorry, man.
Okay. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Barstool. Like, we're older, maybe we're a little outside of their target demographic, but there's a guy from Barstool called Big Cat, and he opened a couple packs of 1986 Fleer basketball. He got PSA graded ones, so he knew they were real, and he opened up the 2 packs, and he didn't get a Michael Jordan. Well, our old buddies, Sports Card Radio, they don't do a whole lot in the hobby anymore, but on social media, Twitter specifically, they pointed out that, if you buy PSA graded 86 Fleer packs, you're not going to get a Jordan. And kind of stirred up the Barstool fan base a little bit. But the point that Sports Card Radio was making is you can see who the top player is in the pack. And because all the Fleer from 86 were sequential packs, if you got this player and this player, you know what card's coming next. Unless the sequence flips randomly, you know what cards are going to be in that pack. So the point they were making, people will buy boxes of 86 Fleer. They will go through them. They will pick out the packs that sequentially should have a Jordan in, and then they send the other ones they know sequentially shouldn't have a Jordan to get PSA graded, because suckers will, well, these are authentic because PSA put them in a slab and they sell those and you don't get Jordans out of them. So I don't know if it was a day or two later, the company Ludex, I think it is, that's an app, a card collecting app. They gave Big Cat a couple more packs to open. And you want to guess what happened? He pulled
2 Jordans.
He pulled a Jordan. How amazing is that? And again, he was happy and took a picture of it in this magnetic, like kind of graded card Ludex case with like a label that they had made with their logo on it in the picture that's going out to all the people that follow him. And Sports Card Radio was like, again, I hope that they paid you quite a bit to do this, because clearly they gave you a pack that they knew would have a Jordan in it to get this publicity. I just thought it was interesting because you had all these Barstool lemmings who didn't know anything about cards that were just fighting with Sports Card Radio, and they were battling with them back and forth a little bit. But like, this is a known thing to people who collect sports cards. Big Cat is not a sports card collector, but I can understand where maybe he wouldn't know, where a sports card company would come in and go, yo, here's an opportunity for us to give him a pack we know of a Jordan in, and then we're going to get all this publicity. or maybe he didn't know. I don't know. It could be either way. I'm not saying I do or don't know. I would believe either version of it, but what Sports Card Radio was saying is absolutely the truth. You can tell what is in the packs. And if somebody wants to pick you a pack that there's a Jordan in it, they know how to do that. And if they want to give you packs that aren't going to have Jordans in, or they want to send those to PSA to get graded because you're never, that happens. They were absolutely telling it like it is, but these people were just like not believing it. It was just a fun thing to read the comments back and forth on though.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the internet all the time, and you say the sky is blue. 35 people come in and tell you that it's purple. I mean, that's just how it is. And Barstool, their fans are fanatical, without question.
A little bit.
But it's this classic. I don't know something, but if my hero is being attacked, I'm gonna pretend like I'm this expert on it, and I'm gonna tell you you're wrong, even though there is data to prove that Sports Card Radio is 100% correct on this. And I think it was the National a couple years ago. We had not gone, but there was a video circulating of people opening up a box of 86 Fleer Jordan, and we talked about, we knew which guy was going to get open up the right pack as soon as he said the first. I forget the name of the first player. But as soon as you see that player is in that pack, okay, that's going to have a Jordan. I'm curious though, not to put the conspiracy helmet back on because that was very warm. Maybe they Frankensteined a pack just to make sure they got a Jordan. I'd love to see how pack fresh this Jordan looks. I don't know. Like, they definitely wanted to hand a Jordan to this guy. They definitely wanted this guy to have a Jordan. It also wouldn't surprise me if they put a pack together. They're pretty easy to do. It's wax. It's like, wouldn't surprise me if they did that either, just to get the publicity out there. He got the card he wanted. All he had to do was tweet at his followers. I bet you Barstool thinks this company that I've never heard of before today is the most important company in sports cards, right? Like, his people definitely believe that at this point. So yeah, I mean, it was smart on their we're talking about it. I mean, if we're talking about it, they must be
absolutely
huge.
Yeah, I mean, they like you said, Joe, they made their hero happy. And so therefore they are this huge company now. And for Ludex, I mean, great play by them. Like, this was amazing, right? That's a absolutely great play by them. Like, awesome. I think the conversation around it though, I didn't read any of the tweets, obviously, or the conversation. I'm guessing it was on Twitter. You said, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is this kind of stuff that the dumb internet voice was made for. Because like back and forth, like, where people are people are actually.
I mean, he did pull a Jordan. He did get a Jordan out of that pack.
Right,
yeah, that dumb internet voice.
Yeah, just people just argue. Like, why argue about it? And I mean, the bottom line is, like Sports Card Radio versus the Barstool Sports, like the massive people, like they clearly have some sort of knowledge on this topic.
Yeah,
and the other one does not. And which side? I mean, it is blatantly obvious which side has the more knowledge on this.
It really was in the comments too. Like, some of the Barstool cronies that were commenting, like, it was just like attack. Like, there's like the magic wizardry. Like, how in the world could you ever, like, no, this is like a known thing to collectors. But if you're not, you don't believe it. So, but they were so strongly in their opinion that these people don't know what you're just trying to crap on them. And no, why would a company do this? It was brilliant marketing by Ludex. What a way to go. If only they would market to know how to actually say their name, if I'm saying it right or not. I don't know if I
thought it was a person. When you told us Ludex, I'm like, who's this person? I had no idea who they were. I've
never used it. I've heard of it. I've never used it. I'm still not going to use it, even though it's brilliant marketing. But they're like, oh, he's trying to get a Jordan. He didn't get one. He thinks he can get them out of these people. Let's get him one that'll get it. And obviously they have millions of followers. Barstool, come on, everybody's going to be all over this. And our name's going to be, and it worked. That was brilliant. I do respect that. Like, I really respect it. So, but let's be real. The card people can see what's going on here.
Right.
Things, just all these accidents are just not accidents. They're not coincidence. No such thing. These are all planned.
Only when the Miz gets a rock auto. That's the only time it's ever been an accident. In honor of WrestleMania weekend.
In honor of that. All right. Well, in honor of the greatest insert set of all time, there is a documentary that is releasing. I believe I mentioned this like 6 or 8 months ago, just in passing. But the Diamond King documentary is going to come out on April 25th. It's available, and we're not being paid to do this. We're interested in it. So this is legitimate interest. It's going to be available on Apple, Google, and Amazon. $4.99 to rent, $12.99 to buy. Just a fantastic documentary on Dick Perez and the whole story behind these cards and how he was picked to do it. Pretty awesome. They also have some incentives that they're running. If you rent it during the first week, you get a set of JPEG images of all the Diamond King cards he made from 82 to 96. And if you buy it in the first week, you get entered into a raffle for high quality prints that they made for the film. This is one we're definitely going to have to watch and definitely going to have to do a review of. I've been excited from this one from the day I saw it was coming out. It is very niche for us baseball card collectors, but if you collected any time in the 80s to the mid 90s, you knew what a Diamond King was. You loved Diamond Kings. They were so unique. The artwork was fantastic. He did a great job on them. I love Diamond Kings. I think back to the early, 90s Donruss stuff, and that was the card. If you pulled that out, you were happy. So I'm really excited to see this documentary.
I didn't collect baseball cards, and I know what Diamond Kings are. So I like I don't know how connected they are, but I like the Gridiron Kings when they came into the football pack. So I'm going to watch it. I mean, we've got that to watch, and we've got the Hobby Hustle to watch. We might be doing some Wednesday reviews or something for the channel here the next few weeks. So anytime that something like that, I love the history of cards, and there's not a lot of it out there. Yeah. Like, for example, I know there's a book, but I would love like a documentary like this of Joe Jusko and that first Marvel Masterpieces set. Like, because it was so, it's not my favorite set, but it was just so different at the time. So like any sort of documentary that you can kind of sink your teeth into and learn more about the hobby, I think it's going to be a fun watch. And like I said, I'm not even a baseball guy, but I will definitely enjoy it.
I saw I'm not sure where it was on eBay or ComC, but I saw a 1987 Donruss Jose Canseco Diamond King, and I'd never seen that card before. And I thought to myself, why have I not built the entire run of Diamond Kings? Like, that is a really cool set. None of them are expensive, right? They're probably at the most $5. Like, even the ones from like 82 and 83 and 84
are not binder set EP. You should.
It is. It's there. It would be an awesome binder set. Like, that's something I need to get on for sure. I've been a huge fan of Diamond Kings ever since I saw them as well. Same difference. Same as you, Mike. Where I've always loved them, and I think I talked about this during when we talked about it originally. Like on Sports Card Nation, one podcast I listened to, they talked about how there was a Kickstarter for this whole movie, and part of the Kickstarter, part of the incentives for that was giving out the sets that they were raffling off, which I wish I'd been part of that Kickstarter because it would have been cool to be part of that. So I'm probably going to buy it. Like I think we talked about that too. Like I'll buy it. Like, that's very, very cool. I can take a ticket shot. And
I'm going to buy it too because I want to support it. I think it's a great idea. Like you said, Joe, our hobby is really bad at like preserving it or showing its history. Like there's just nothing really out there that you can learn about the history of card collecting. So this is really cool that they're doing it, and like it's such an iconic card. I wish they would do more. I would love to know how stuff happened and why stuff happened. I still haven't read my Mike Kramer book, but I really need to get that read. But yeah, like I find it fascinating just because we don't know a lot of the stories, and I'm glad to see this out there. I'm going to pay a little bit of money and I'm going to buy it.
And most of the documentaries you see are like either in that moment or something super negative. Like there was a person forging autographs, or there was, the last hobby documentary we watched where we're seeing, people like, like prey on other people because of the boom and all of this. And it's like, yeah, that's not what I want. I want to watch something like this where you can learn a little bit about it.
I mean, and the stories can go all the way back to like the T206 Wagner, which the reason that's so short print is he didn't want to be put into the tobacco products. Like
Right.
there were potentially so many stories that could be told.
All right. Well, wrap things up here with a quick little thing about Arch Manning. You know him? He's part of that whole. There were these guys that played football. They were quarterbacks, some Mannings. Forget what their names were. Jebediah and
it's not that far off, actually.
Eli, and I forget the other ones out there. Yeah, but there were a bunch of these people that were named Manning, and they played quarterback in the NFL. Arch signed an extension to his exclusive deal with Panini. It extends to doing photographs and helmets and jerseys. So Panini is also now going to Fanatics. You know what? We're not only going to not let you sign these guys to make card autographs, we're not going to let you sell any of Arch's stuff. We have all of that stuff. So pretty good timing. He's going to be the starter for them this year. It's his time. It's been crazy with Panini making the moves. In the release on Collect about this, Collect said that they had a deal with Cam Ward too. I have not heard anything about that.
Neither have I.
I don't know. Maybe that's just like a non-exclusive deal because it didn't specifically say, but it mentioned, Shooter Sanders and Travis Hunter. But yeah, I mean, Panini out here making more moves, making sure they lock up the one guy who they probably really should lock up. We've talked about it last week too. It's just amazing though how they're kind of taking Fanatics game plan and going, you know what, we might as well just do it back to them.
Good. I mean, it's nice when you're in the playground and someone walks up to the bully and punches him right in the face, and you're like, good, I'm glad the bully just got bullied, and that's exactly
now
what's happening here.
What if it's one bully walks up to the other bully and punches him in the face?
Then nobody wins.
The other bully is about 3 feet taller, is all muscle, and they're going to be a bully for about 20 years. So it's a big difference.
Turning Panini into the baby face is
they absolutely. I wasn't on my bingo card when we first started this podcast either, but here we are. I mean, Fanatics is they're the biggest bully in the playground. Is anyone going to disagree with that? They are. They just
Panini is also awful too. So
they're awful. Yeah, for sure. They're awful too. But I would rather them do this than let Fanatics have everything. And that's my biggest thing. And I think we can all agree, though, the most important Manning is Cooper Manning because, he's Arch's dad. I mean, Cooper Manning, come on. He's the best. We need to sign him to an exclusive to have the dad and son dual autographs. But, I'm glad that they're doing it. I think Arch is going to be a big star this year. I don't, if they extended it now for a little while, could go into his pro cards, which by that point, Panini won't have the licenses. When he's a pro, when Arch Manning is a pro, Panini will not have the licenses. He's projected. I mean, EP puts people in the Hall of Fame. I'm projecting Arch Manning to be the first overall pick.
Isn't he in the Hall of Fame though already?
He might be. He might be already. So, yeah. They might have thrown him in there. But yeah, I mean, to have the first overall pick not have licensed cards could be pretty interesting in a couple of years. So, Fanatics kind of started this with the signing away the big names, and Panini's like, well, okay, what's good for the goose, I guess.
Yeah, Fanatics made his own bet in this case, 100%. Like they're the one that did it first, no doubt about that. Is this a response? This was contract with him. Is this a response to the hockey photo cards?
It could be. I didn't think about that. Yeah,
I mean they can't even make those now because that's part of the contract. And then like down the line, what happens to players associations if every player in the I guess the minor players are still not going to get their not going to get their cut unless there's an association. But if so many players are part of this, like this is going to end up bigger than the NFL quarterback club from back in the day, right? Like this is, I mean, that doesn't exist anymore. I think, right?
Yeah,
I think I think like this is going to be bigger than that, and this is going to be more widespread than that. And you think about the number of. I hope Arch Manning has a great career. I think he probably will. But what happens when
He'll
they
be in
sign
the Hall of
something?
Fame.
Well, what happens when these people end up signing, like they sign 100 different prospects, and then these prospects all flame out, and then so there
Ask
is
Upper Deck. Ask Upper Deck
like,
about Ben Simmons, right?
was
I
the-
mean, they signed him to an exclusive. That didn't
Did they?
turn out great for them. Yeah.
no, but yeah, I mean, so so then what happens to the players associations and contracts and all that sort of stuff, or the agreements, that sort of stuff? It could be interesting to see what happens in the future.
Well, they can still make cards of Arch Manning. They just can't have autographs of him. Correct.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's what, and it'll do the thing that it did with Panini, but on the flip side of it, it'll be like, will his 1 of 1 out of Topps Chrome be worth more than a Panini unlicensed autograph? Like that's going to be the fun. So it's going to be everything we've been going through now in reverse with the players coming out over the next couple of years. So you've got a 1 year window. If they did sign Cam Ward, which would be good, he's probably going to be the first overall pick, and Shedeur Sanders and Hunter, those are going to probably be 3 top 10 picks, if not 3 top 5 picks. This will be the one moment in time going forward where they will actually have these top picks have licensed cards with autographs. Like this could be it. This could be the last time this happens if Panini keeps this up over the course of the next 20 years. And do you think this happens if Fanatics didn't do it first? Do you think Panini is still going after these?
No.
But Fanatics just pulled the pin and just threw it at this point, I think.
Well, I'm surprised EP didn't say, well, yeah, Panini would have done that. That's why Fanatics had to do it first. Panini was going to do it
proactively.
Well, I was going to say Joe up there always like making excuses for Panini. No, but
this one you're going to agree with me, right? This one you're going to agree with me 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. All right, guys. That's all I got for you this week. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say to our viewers and listeners before we go?
Well, one last question on would Panini bankrupt themselves to sign enough people? Or would they be that vengeful against Topps Fanatics to sign themselves into bankruptcy?
I don't know. I think Panini has a lot of money.
Yeah, I think Panini, especially the parent company, probably is doing okay. And again, they're doing okay too. I mean, they're gonna make WNBA products until Caitlin Clark's legs fall off, right? I mean, like that's gonna be a big thing for them. And then you get Archman. Imagine if Archman comes in first overall pick, and Cam Ward comes in, he's the first overall pick. They have Caitlin Clark came in. I mean, I think this is the model that they're gonna have to go with. And at what point do they just do a multi-sport flawless? I mean,
they absolutely, yeah. I was gonna say that this is like after they lose the licenses, that they have all those people together, they'll just make a multi-sport
classic
set.
4-sport, baby.
Yeah,
they own classic, by the way. They own the classic IP. They do.
Oh, wow, perfect.
They do. Classic 4-sport. Could you imagine that? That would be so cool. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be.
All right. Anybody have any appearances or signings they're doing this week that you need to plug before we go, or are you all good?
I just want to let the viewers know that Mike, for the first time ever, was ready to do the triple autograph 8x10s at the card show this week, but EP didn't show up. He was ready. This was going to be his only time that he was going to do the triple auto, and EP's like, I'm sick. So he couldn't make it out. He doesn't sound sick to me, guys.
Not at all. He sounds
perfectly healthy. He wasn't muting to
He didn't even stumble over his words or his thoughts.
Look at him fake coffee real quick.
I have a cough. I have a bad cough, guys.
You know, he doesn't care about the fans.
I have a bad cough.
Yeah. He doesn't care about our fans.
Yeah. All right, guys. That was a pretty good chat this week. I got nothing else, though. I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
Adios.